Very good morning to you all. I am Dr.AJAY MISHRA. Welcome you all to this presentation titled Memory and Storage. Here I want to say, in your day-to-day activities, you all are using computers and other electronic gadgets. And you are also using the two terms interchangeably as memory and storage. As per the layman's view, they both are same, but technically they are different. So the basic objective of this presentation is to give you a clear idea about the term memory and storage. In my day-to-day activities, I am coming in contact with quite a good number of people, those who are using computer and other handheld electronic gadgets. While using that, they are frequently using two terms, memory and storage. Here I want to emphasize that the memory and storage are the two most important components responsible for everything that is happening in computer. These two terms using the same units to measure the capacity as kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte and zotabytes. That creates a lot of confusion among them. People often use these two terms interchangeably without considering the subtle difference. So, the basic objective of this presentation is to give a clear idea about the functional difference that is taking place in case of memory and storage. Here, I am focusing on the terms size, functionality and objective. They are different in case of these two terms, that is memory and storage. Even the peoples, those who are aware about this, they are quite ignorant about the functional difference. Now, to have a better exposure, we must have to understand the functioning of computer in terms of memory and storage. Here we have to take a note that our system can work smoothly only if memory and storage work together in tandem with the processor used. To understand this in details, we have to go through the steps. In step 1, processor fetch the data from the storage device and enable our system to boot up, load applications and access anything that we have saved. Here the speed of storage drive matters. In second step, processor access the storage drive and transfer the long-term data to the memory for short-term access. And finally, in step number 3, the processor access data from the memory to run programs, edit files and toggle between different applications. Here the speed and amount of memory matters. With this expectation that you have gone through the functioning of memory and storage, now I am explaining the term memory. Memory is a component within our computer system that allows us to access data that is stored in RAM, that is random access memory, or we can say more specifically DRAM, that is dynamic random access memory, that keeps data for a short period. The basic or the fundamental difference between RAM or dynamic RAM is that in case of dynamic RAM, the contents are refreshed even though there is a power supply. By default, memory refers the primary memory and it is made of RAM chips. It is the workplace used by computer to get the work done. It holds the files that are in use while the computer is running. Most of the system operations like loading application, editing a document and browsing internet are performed by using short-term data access. The speed and performance of our system depends on the amount of memory that is installed on our computer. It has the fastest access but is volatile in nature. Here the term volatile is related with the power supply. That means the contents of the data will retain until there is a power supply. Here is a pictorial view of a memory, or we can say RAM, and we can observe that RAMs are available in different sizes and different capacities. They are also designed to be installed in different slots. Here we have to notice one thing, that the capacity of memory depends on the number of bits that operating system process without bothering about processor. For example, a 32 bits operating system cannot support more than 4 gigabytes of memory. If at all we want to use more memory, we also have to upgrade our operating system that can process 64 bits at a time. Now we will discuss about the term storage. Here storage refers to any computing hardware that allows us to store and access data on a long-term basis. Usually it comes in the form of hard disk or solid state drive. It allows us to access and store our applications, operating system and files for an indefinite period and can be recalled when necessary. It is non-volatile and has large capacity of storing. It is used to store applications, documents, data and other stuffs needed by people to get their work done. No access or modification of data is possible if they are in storage. A computer's performance and speed is not affected by the storage. Here is a pictorial view of the storage. In this we can observe that there are different types of storage devices such as floppy disk, SD card, pen drives, CD or DVD, external hard disk and the hard disk. They all are available with different capacities, and the technique of retrieval of data is also different in different devices. As we know, floppies are available with 8 inch diameter, 5.25 inch diameter and 3.5 inch diameter. Similarly, pen drives are available with different capacities. Nowadays, up to 1 TB pen drive is also available. After discussing about memory and storage, I want to compile their differences as a nutshell. These differences are based on their composition, method of data access, speed, cost and the volatility. Now you can observe the differences are placed in the form of a table. While observing table, you can have a look that memory is RAM or dynamic RAM, whereas storage is hard disk or it is the form of solid state drive. Similarly, when we are talking about memory, they are used for temporary data to be stored, and when you are considering about the storage, they can use for temporary as well as permanent data, and that can be stored for a longer time. The amount of storage in case of memory is very limited, whereas in case of storage it is large. Memory contains volatile memory, or storage contains the non-volatile memory. That means they can retain the data until there is a power supply. When we are talking about the memory, it is a collection of chips stored in the memory model, whereas storage is a core technology. And we are talking about the retrieval part of the memory. It is independent of its location, whereas in case of storage, it is through interface like Satta and Patta, where Satta represents the serial advanced technology attachment, whereas Patta represents the parallel advanced, advanced technology attachment. Now when we are talking about the speed and performance in case of memory, it is affected by the number of RAMs. That means we can increase the capacity of memory. But when we are talking about the storage, it has no impact on its speed and size when it is taken into consideration of its size. Finally, when we are talking about the memory model is very little or it's less costly, whereas the storage is comparatively more expensive. After going through the observations, I hope you must have acquired an idea on memory and storage. Now to solidify your ideas, I am taking two common examples from our day-to-day activities. In figure 1, you can observe that there is a desk and a cabinet placed adjacent to each other, and at the top of the desk some files and other items are placed. Items placed at the top of the desk are ready for operation but confined to their space, whereas the contents inside the cabinet becomes operational only when they are taken out from the cabinet and placed on the desk. So, here desk is the example of memory and cabinet is the example of storage. Similarly, in figure 2, there is a wallet containing some coins and rupees and a deposit in the form of bank or other modes. Currency available in the wallet is readily available to spend, but the deposits can be utilized only through the interface, that is, bank or any third party intervention. So, wallet can be treated as memory but deposit as storage. Thank you for your patience hearing. Hope you enjoyed. Suggest the topic of interest if you want to me explain in future as per your interest.